Pleasant good evening, brothers and sisters, viewers, 107.1 family. Pleasant good night. I'm Dinesh Jaiprashad, and this is the Dinesh Jaiprashad Show. And I'm happy to be back after a number of weeks. And I know that starting from today, we will be able to share a lot of information that will cause you to continue to support and listen to us so that come next election, you will do the right thing. Um, Tonight's program is a very interesting one, and to discuss the happenings in Region 6 and Guyana as it relates to politics and development, I will be having the treasurer for the People National Congress Reform, Fiaz Mursalin, and myself. Another guest is scheduled to be on too, but um, there is some difficulties with the gadget. So, in the meantime, we will commence our program and share information with you so that we can be able to keep abreast and keep up as to what really is happening in Guyana. So, good night to all the brothers and sisters. Welcome, Mr. Fiaz Mursalin. The
Good night.
good night, sir. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show, the 107.1 FM. It's a pleasure again to be on, and we will get the ball rolling on Region 6 issues.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you once again on the program, and
Thank you.
we know that you are a very important person as it relates to the the office that you hold in the
Yeah,
PNCR.
yes.
Um, you are the guy that control the funds for the party, and it is important that
The
people
fiscal
understand that,
management.
yes,
The
people
fiscal
understand
management.
that we have competent people to deal with um,
Correct.
um, all areas of management as it relates to the PNCR. So, welcome again, my brother. I want to
Thank
say
you.
a special good night to all my brothers and sisters and viewers, listeners on the 107.1 radio, all the listeners on the radio on the ground, Georgetown, out of Guyana, Caribbean, diaspora, wherever you are. Welcome to the program. If you can share this with someone else, we will be happy. Our task is to ensure that you receive the necessary information. You know what is happening in Guyana so that you can be able to put your ex come next election to next to the AP and UAFC. And we know that we will do far more better than what is happening currently in Guyana. So to get the ball rolling, I want to start off this discussion with a little bit on the cost of living. This
Mhm.
thing is literally hitting all our citizens, all the brothers and sisters in this country. Cost of living, the cost to put food on the table, the cost to pay our bills, the cost to purchase groceries and all these amenities are so high that a lot of people skipping meal in this country. Kaichur newspaper yesterday, I saw something there. Some adults skipping meal so that the children can have 3 square meals. Some adults skipping meal so that they can be able to cut costs. Just imagine, Fiaz Muslim and Dinesh Jaiprashad, we are here to say to Guyanese, we are an oil producing nation, far richer in terms of natural resources than most of the country around the world. And we, our citizens, are cutting costs as it relates to feeding themselves. And this should not be. This should not be so. We are capable to feed, house, and clothe our population, but we see that only a few receiving the big chunks and the crumbs, the little bits and pieces are not even reaching to the small man. So, my brother, what is your take? How do you see this cost of living thing? Do you see it is affecting the people in your area? And what can be done? What can we do?
The cost of living in this country, none time in history of Guyana, people would have never been left on the breadline. It's first time now that people are being put on the breadline, that they are not having basic meals and essential goods because it's high in the shelf or in the supermarkets. This government don't have a oriented plan on how to tackle cost of living. They are going around preaching the narrative of the war in Ukraine. But come on, Dinesh Jaiprashad, you are the member of parliament. You know what countries are doing aid relief. Like for example, our neighbor Barbados, not too far neighbor, Caribbean neighbor Barbados is putting out a 6 month relief program. So the government needs to take into consideration these things. However, in the 1950s and 60s and even 70s, food was practically giving away. History could show that there are so
Meat
many.
and milk.
Guyana had so many foods that it was practically giving away. And now you're coming to us and saying that um, something is wrong in the management, something is wrong up there, and we need to take it into consideration before it becomes a food security for us. And getting this one-off cash grants to these people seems like, it's helping or whatever, but it's finishing when it goes to the supermarket shelf because the cost and the tax is so high. For example,
Exactly.
now it's $1,800, $2,000 for a tray egg. Last year, the other year when the coalition was in government during COVID, no cost of living, no high prices was ever jacked up in the shelf. How now something is wrong and we need to ask the big question. And it's a very big question for us to answer, and we'll be answering it when it comes to campaign time because this nonsense gotta stop.
Thank you. Thank you. So true. Indeed, we have never seen this high cost of living on the people in this country now.
Mhm.
Many have said so many things about the PNC and the PPP 23 years and APNO and everything, but we have never seen what we are seeing now.
This,
People
yeah,
are literally punishing,
it's unreal.
and
Mhm.
this is not a race thing, you know. This is
No, no, everybody is
everyone
punishing.
suffering.
Afro,
Indians,
Indo,
Africans, Chinese, everybody,
Portuguese,
everybody.
everybody.
The only
Yeah,
body who's surviving now are the people who
is the
have the
ministers,
cash,
the PPP. Yeah,
people who have the
the
money.
elite.
Those
Hmm.
rich persons, they can pull up to the supermarket and buy whatever they want and how much they want. And the poor man, the poor man. So the PNC, the APNU, AFC, we are asking for bailout. We are asking for the government to give a 200,000 or 250,000 to
Thousand per
every
house. Yeah.
adult.
Hmm.
Um, if you want to narrow it down to say, and here what happens, give 250, give 250 to a family every 3 months or every 4 months. That will be able to help in some way or
Sufficient.
the
Yeah.
other. We have
Hmm.
enough money in this country. We are an oil producing nation, crude oil, and we have enough money that can feed us for years and years and years to come. But what we see happening is that the money are not being going to the purpose that it was supposed to be used for.
Yeah.
And this is a problem. This is a problem for us in Guyana. So when we look at the 250,000, we are taking into consideration the water bill, light bill, the
Hmm.
phone bill, little internet
Grocery.
bill,
Hmm.
you know, and most
Hmm.
importantly, stuff for the children.
Yeah.
So it is important. We have a plan. We know that the treasury has enough money. And when we get into office, we will ensure that each household, each family receive what belongs to them. This oil is not PPP oil, you know. The viewers need to understand this. It's not PPP discover this thing or APNO or PNC or AFC discover this thing. This is our blessing. This is what nature
Hmm.
has given to us. This country is blessed with that. And now part of the APNU, AFC, and now the PPP, they harness and they are reaping the benefit. It is a resource that needs to be distributed for all Guyanese, and do development that will benefit all Guyanese. And that is important
Yeah.
for all of us to take note of, so that in doing that, we will be able to move forward. So, you want to say anything more, sir, on the cost of living
And
thing?
it's and you're speaking about Dineshwar, you're speaking about this cash grant being distributed. It is alleged throughout the region, throughout the country, that these PPP ministers who have the access to this cash grant, for example, the Minister for Social Protection, it is alleged that she is making sure that the PPP supporters get the cash grant of the disabled child first. Then she will be going to these green villages that are Afro Guyanese that are presumed to be APNU supporters.
Okay,
So
okay.
when
Well,
it
we
comes
got to
to the
take.
distribution, of these cash grants, it is not done properly, and it's not promoting the one Guyana President Irfan Ali is saying. It may look as a PR, it looks good on paper, it looks good, but on the reality on the ground, it is not what it is.
I
And we
understand,
need to
but
have that
that is what
ironed out. The discrimination
we
is
need
too
to get a
much.
list. We need to go into the communities and
Yes.
find out who are being discriminated against, and that is what we will have to engage the minister on those
And
issues.
they are
And
spending this money Wild West. Wild West. That's why we could have inflation of our dollars if we don't know how to spend the monies that are coming from the consolidated from the National Resource Fund, NRF. We could be in serious problems because this handing outs, this wild handing out. If you look at some programs, economists are having. For example, one of our economists in the PNC, Elson Low, is having the lowdown. He explains a lot about the determination and the way of how this oil money is being lashed out or giving away Wild West without proper structuring. It's going to cause a bad effect. It's the Dutch disease, as they say it. It's going to be happening in Guyana very soon. And we will
well,
have
we
to
hope
save them. We'll have to save it.
we hope yeah, yeah, we hope that it doesn't reach until when after election,
Yeah.
and government have changed it. So we are hoping that the sense will prevail, and the PPP are here. They are managing the affairs of this
Mhm.
country. Do it in a
Correct.
way that it will benefit all the people. Don't, as there's allegation about a disability story, don't do that. If you know that five persons from this village are disabled and they need the assistance, ensure that they have it. Don't pass
Give
this
them.
village and go to
We'll
the next
ensure
village
our, yeah.
and do that. You
Yeah.
know, do it so that people will say thank you. And when I hear that
Thank you.
the minister do something, and something happen, and we appreciative of whatever, I am saying thank you. I have done it before and I will continue to do it. But thank you does not mean that we begging for it. It is the entitlement of the people. You are the controller of the purse, the government of the day, the ministers. You control the treasury, and if you to provide a service, it is a necessity. It is not something that you
Mhm.
want to say that, okay, I taken out that 20 million to do one, two, three. It is not your money. It is taxpayers' money. It is the country money. You are just managing it there temporarily until next election. So
Mhm.
we need to get that straight. Government will change, and whatever. 23 year, 28 years of the PNC government change. 23 years of the PVP government change. 5 years of the of APNU government change.
Coalition.
And we know that
Yeah.
government will change again. Because the people are fed up. The people are saying that they have never bargained and expected that this will happen. The people on the ground, they're very much frustrated and fed up. Give them a
Yep.
$20,000 will not solve any problem. BBB.
Mm-mm.
We know that the people are punishing. People need support. Up to now, the government is not thinking about giving some subsidies. paying the light bill for the people, paying the water bill for the people, you know, looking after their utility bills. No, they are not doing that. They leave them on their own. But you know what they did? 100,000 to fishermen, 100,000 to this rice
The
man,
fisherman didn't get any money as yet, you know. They
you
didn't.
know.
They're wait. The fisherman is going to boil up a storm. I heard a
Yeah.
conversation just recently. The fisherman is
Well,
saying, "Where is the money? We ain't get
well,
the money as yet." You
we
know.
hoping that
So
we hoping
they
that
ain't get the money as yet.
they will decide and do something before that.
This
So
budget,
100,000
this
of fishermen,
budget will yeah.
the fertilizer rice farmers, flood
Mm-hmm.
relief, and we know what happened there. So we are
Yeah.
saying that if you know that you have money to share, don't pick and choose. Let it
Pick
come
and
to
choose. Yeah.
everybody
Correct.
so that we will benefit. So I want to touch a two word on Gaisuku. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Mussolin, the PVP promised all the Guyanese that soon after we take office, that is what they said. VP said that soon after we
Mm-hmm.
take office, we're going to open back
Yeah.
all the closure estate. It has been 2 years now.
For example, Skeldon.
Skellen and Rosal, two
He
years
came.
now.
Yeah. He came and he said that he will, in his campaign, he said that he will be reopening soon as they take office the Skeldon Sugar Factory. People are still waiting to see the Skeldon Sugar Factory reopen. However, Gaisuku in the whole right now doesn't have any proper management. For example, you could see you everybody knows the recording that Anthony Vera brought out to say Sarain Singh as a CEO that is prejudiced and biased. So literally, you could see Gaisuku is in shackles, it's in shambles, and for example, a shortage of sugar. Non-time Dineshwar, we never had shortage of sugar in this country. Maybe we had shortage of the export market, but we never had shortage of sugar, and we didn't have market and so on to market the sugar and to be exported. But the sugar in this country, there are few estates can be marginalized and be subsidized, but the amount of estates that we had to make a decision in 2015 to 2020 to marginalize it and to give these sugar workers the subsidies and their severance to start a new life. And we did programs and we did management, we did educational programs to have them become entrepreneur and so on. Majority of sugar workers from the Skeldon estate we had employed at Exxon, and they gone to Exxon Mobil. So what we need to do here is that we need to highlight that Gaisuku hasn't gotten a proper management prior to 2020 to now. It doesn't have a proper management and it's not going anywhere. And that's the reality. The reality is that from the structure come down, the thieving is happening, there's alleged thieving is happening from the structure come down. So how is it is going to be
Exactly.
fruitful
Something
in
is wrong.
deliberations?
Something is definitely
Yeah,
wrong. Because here what happened? They buy some tractor. Last year they buy
yeah,
some
correct.
tractor.
John Deere. Hmm.
Yeah, them tractor is expensive, but 10 million for repair them and
Expensive to
so.
maintain. Correct.
And
So something
and
is
to
wrong.
maintain them. And this same government, they were fighting us that
Hmm.
have to provide big buses for the children, and
Correct.
the big buses, the transport, the maintenance cost was high. So they pull off all
Hmm.
the DVG bus. They pull off all the DVG bus, and you
Yeah.
know they say that they say that the DVG bus too expensive to maintain. But the John Deere tractor no work yet. Sugar short came in
At the
there,
break. At the break.
and this John Deere or whatever Deere, you understand? This
Yeah.
is the DVG bus, buddy. This
In
big
Region
bus
6,
taking
watch.
60,
Bus
70,
bus number
80
6,
children
yeah.
every day. This
Mm-hmm.
bus fetching 60, 70, 80 children every day.
Unbelievable.
You know,
The
they scrap
discrimination
many of these
is
buses,
totally madness.
right?
Yeah.
This is the region 6-1. And I heard that they took out the engine. So this bus ain't good for
Mm-hmm.
walk. Here go for fetch
Correct.
picnic. But the engine good. Somebody took the engine body. You understand?
You need even
And
good for store chicken for be a chicken
good.
coop. But the thing
So
is,
they put it aside. And now they're
yeah,
spending 20 million and how much million to repair John Deere. I see
it
the
aches
weekend the
my eye.
commission. I see the commissioner
It,
grader 20 something million, 20 something million for a
mm-hmm,
grader. And I saw the thing
mm-hmm,
overseas, proper grader, better grader, 6 million and 8 million and 12 million. You know? So
yep,
we need to ask questions. When these money coming out from our treasury and the taxpayers and our oil money, we need to ask questions. Guyanese need to ask questions. Why is it that you're buying a grader for this amount and there are better ones selling for that price? And we need to ask these questions. So coming back to Gaisuku, as you rightly said, 5 years of AP and UAFC, we have never had a shortage of sugar.
correct.
And
And
and the thing is that it is very very. I must pass to say special welcome and good night to our brother, Councillor Anil Sugrim. Good night, sir.
Hey, good night.
And thank you. I know your schedule is very very tight, but thank you for affording us the opportunity to hear you. We are discussing the issue of Gaisuku, and we are saying that this is the first time that we are having so much of problems with the management, and it is trickling down to say that sugar in the shelf, sugar in the shop is shortage. There's a shortage. I saw yesterday or the other day in the paper that management of Gaisuku are calling now on planters. They want people to work the fields. So if
mm-hmm,
PPP so love sugar and PPP so care about Gaisuku, why is it that you have to put out ad in the newspaper, in the press, in the internet to beg people to come and to work? Something is definitely
mm-hmm,
wrong. So we need to look at these things from so many different angles to ensure that the people receive what belongs to them. And what we see the PPP doing, that they are not ensuring that the people receive the resources that belongs to them. Mr. Sugrim, would you like to say anything on Gaisuku?
Well, I saw the other day that the auditor general said that they overpaid contractor um, for some tillaging work.
Work, two
That
contractors.
Yeah, two contractors.
Yes.
I saw they overpaid people, and they recommend disciplinary action against the estate manager, the field engineer, and the agriculture manager. So we gotta wait and see what coming out of that. And
That'll be a
the
that'll be a good
normal
brush.
thing is we just hear things when it happen for a period of time, and then it just falls through. Nothing comes out of it. You know.
Correct. Correct. And that's
So
so true. I mean, they're preparing contract for tillage, preparing the land, and you're supposed to pay 7,000 something per hour, and then you end up paying 8,500 per hour,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then you will
correct,
have
correct.
something. So basically, we see that management has an issue, and but they're not accepting it. We know that the CEO, the CEO is a bright guy, but not for sugar. He's a bright guy, but not for sugar. So probably they got to take you out of there and put you somewhere else that he can, you know, continue to do what he's doing. Um, Gaisuku needs someone who is very much um experienced in that field, and we know that Gaisuku can get back on its leg because the PVP run down Gaisuku for so many years. Um, a lot of blame was being thrown on and is being thrown on AP and UFC for right sizing, but that was the best choice at the time. If they have the gall and the guts to bring it back, bring it back. And we know that they can do it. They will ball left, right, and center, and blame everybody except their own poor management. So so much on the Guy Suku issue. Mr. Sugram, you have anything to say? We know in the upper quarantine hot right now. A lot of things talking about the township
And
of Ferguson.
the whole country is hot. The whole country is hot. If we start from New Amsterdam, we can hear they going to borrow a big set of money from IDB to do some work at New Amsterdam Hospital. Now
Correct.
they're saying we hear they're saying that it's because of the coalition government the hospital would have run down to that deplorable state. But this is an IDB report that just came out um, about how long? 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and then
No,
they're
less than
talking
that.
about over 2 years ago. You know, there are issues at the Port Morant Hospital. I was told by a lady that she went there 16 times to see an eye specialist in order, for her to get an appointment to clean her eyes. They're talking so much about the eye doctor and the eye hospital, Port Morant. But it's chaos and fatigue. I hear old people going down there hungry, you know, hungry, thirsty, from morning to night. I heard the next man went there 12 times. People have gone there 15 times. When a lady told me, you know what? If she would have gone to a private eye specialist, she would have seen him one time, go and pay and get her eye clean, come back and go back one more time, and it would have not cost her as much to travel to Port Morant Hospital from Skeldon and to get a little snack and a little drink when she's hungry, that it would have cost 2 times more the amount of money to go to the Port Morant Hospital. You know,
So true.
she tell me the story about going to room number one and room number two and room number three, and every time you come out, you got to go back to start from the back of the line. And she says the line, is so long every time. It's so long that you talking about hundreds of people. She says about 120, 150 people every time she go. You go to the Skeleton Hospital. If you go to Skeleton Hospital now, you'll have to wait there for another 4 hours before you get a doctor to attend to you. And then a popular businessman up in Curveton complained the other day that he went over there, and when he would have gone there, he had to wait with his wife about 2.5 hours for the doctor and call to show up. And then he said that only happened after he made several calls. And when she went there, she says she was there all the time. And I can tell you these are kind of the recurring matter that have been affecting people all over and over and over again. The town council buy 200 solar light from subvention money over 2 months ago, lying at the council because of disagreement between the mayor and deputy mayor, where they must put it and who place they must put it. They can't get it up and running up to now. You know, this is
Okay.
what's
Okay.
happening. You get a
All right.
deputy mayor, he go to central housing planning meeting. He never ever take any information from the people in Corverton to represent them there. He never come back from central housing and planning and report to the council. But the life of that board expire on the 29th of August. He wants the board again. He wants the council again to send him back again. When I ask question on it, I am not allowed to speak. You know, now they
Okay.
don't want you to speak. You know,
All right.
because
Before you
you're
go,
representing the
um, um,
people.
I want to go back. I want to go back to the health. It will be good for us to hit the topic one at a time. Health. What you said there, sir. Um, the big question is IDB is saying that 18 years now, no maintenance to the equipment, no change of equipment, and was done. It means then that PPP, APNO, and PPP again, all these ministers who are responsible for health and so got technical blows. If you know that every month or every year you budget so much million for health, and you ensure that X-ray machine change and heart machine change and all these machine change, then what have you been doing with the funds for allocated for health? Where the money gone? And as a taxpayer and as a citizen for this country, It is my duty to ask the ministers, former ministers of health, bring the records up. Show the people in this country what happened at New Amsterdam Hospital, right? That is one. So everybody got their blows there. It's not just PVP and APNO and AFC. It's everybody. Because you have been there for the past 18 years, you got to answer what happened to New Amsterdam Hospital. That is one. Number two, New Amsterdam Hospital got more than 50 doctors. Portland Hospital got more than 25 doctors. And yet people go in there and got to wait hours to see a doctor. That is nonsense. Who is the administrator? Where is the attendance register? What shift system you have? Are you accountable for these people? You got 50 medical practitioners. These not little children you're managing, man. You get 50 people on 7 days a week. Divide them up and work. But we know what is happening now. It's PPP time. Anything can happen. So when you're talking about Skellen there, Skellen we got more than 15, 20 doctors there. What they are doing. What they are
You know,
doing. You know? Yes, sir. Go.
last week Tuesday, lady said she was at Port Morgan Hospital in a line to see the doctor, and the doctor step out, said he coming back just now. And she said 3.5 hours after, then he returned. Three and
Okay.
a hours after, then he
Just imagine.
returned,
Mr. Muslim.
and she
Mr.
was there
Muslim.
from 5:30 in the morning. She was there from
Okay.
5:30 in the morning, being the second person in
Then the
line,
line.
and she could not leave there until after 5 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And she's
Mr.
70
Muslim, you
years
have anything to
plus,
say on the health?
Well,
and
Jai
she's
Prasad,
70 years plus.
well,
Yeah, go
Dinesh
ahead. Go
Mark,
ahead.
during
Yeah.
the tenure of APNU, we did a lot for health. And if you look at the analysis and you look at the background of how we manage health in this country, now in the 2 years of PPP, it's going down the ground. We are, I guess, shortage of medication now, and we don't have proper service being rendered to the people.
So true. Correct.
However, in the
Yeah.
5 years, we had a dialysis center that was offering free dialysis in the region.
In
That
Amsterdam.
was
Correct.
disbanded by the PPP. Total disband. We don't have any budgetary allocation for the 2 years to re-emerge and recommission the center. So it was disbanded by the PPP. So
They're
if
doing,
you
they're
look
doing
at
it in
the
guard.
health centers throughout this country, if you look at health centers throughout the country, the amount of health centers that was commissioned by the AP and UAFC during the 2 years of the PPP, not even a single, they can't even come 2% with the
Correct.
commission of health centers throughout the country. We have ambulances, water ambulances in the region. It was discommissioned. And if you do check, we don't have proper for the rivering areas, we don't have proper medical reaches to cope with the emergency cases for these rivering areas. We had the ambulance, the AP and UAFC give the PPP these, they inherited the water ambulance. It is not maintained, it is disbanded. So if you
Correct.
look at, if you have the analysis of who having the best interest of health during
It
the
was up
18
to.
years, it was APNU. During the 18 years, the IDB make an analysis, which I did. I'm not saying that they are unfair in the analysis. They gotta say what they gotta say, and we have to say what we have to say.
Correct.
However, the analysis that has been made, I think we need to be relooked and examined properly. 80 during the 5 years of our tenureship, 4.5 years during our tenureship, the health sector of this country was our utmost priority.
Yeah, that is true. We are not disputing that. But I'm saying that if we have a pen, and this pen was given to us, and this pen was supposed to be changed every 2 year, every 3 year, every 5 year, and it was not
Correct.
changed, it means that I am responsible for this. I am culpable. I should be dealt with because our constitution state that, or the laws governing this state that it should be changed. That is one. But under the APNU AFC, we have seen a transformation of Portland Hospital, Skeldon, Blackbush, health centers, and so a lot of work were done. We are not disputing that. But I'm saying the IDB report indicates a lot more than what we have been seeing at the the top, a
Mm-hmm.
lot more what we as residents and citizens of the country could not identify and pick out. Because when you go to hospital and they tell you the X-ray machine not working, you will not ask when this thing was purchased, under who administration, or all these things. You say, oh, the machine broke. But it is something that we got to get the facts straight on to tell the people that here what happens. We have been taking some blows, not we, but all the governments have to take some blows because of a few hiccups that happen here and there. But I want to say that the water ambulance that David Arthur Granger brought to this region have
Mm-hmm.
served the people tremendously. And well, we know that the PPP is not there to offer proper services. The PPP is there to take away services. So they took away the bus services. They took away the water ambulance. They took away the boat from New Amsterdam to Rosignol. And
Signal, yeah.
after 2 years, they bring it back and said they recommission, the boats as if though, it's something
But
that
we
they
pressure
um,
them. We
pardon
pressure
me?
them in the region. We pressure them
Yes,
in the region to
yes,
bring it
yes.
back. So
They got
it
to,
was
yeah,
pressure, political
yeah.
pressure.
So the thing
However,
is that they bought two big buses. They
mhm,
scrap two 60-seater, but they bring two 30-seater. We can't complain. We know that money is there.
unre-
Instead of bringing two
unrealistic.
30-seater, bring four
Correct.
30-seater. We
Yeah.
here, Mr. Mursalim and Mr. Sugrim, this country, Guyana, got enough money to provide free transportation for all our children.
Yep.
This country got enough money to feed all our children in all our schools. But PVP running
You,
things.
you know
Yeah.
the thing is, the money don't reach the vulnerable. The money of
True.
this country, the taxpayer monies, our oil resources, and all of that, it don't reach to the people that deserve it. I saw today, there was a man died at 56. When you look where the man live, way down the street, a more dam. It get big, big hole, bushes are two sides of the street. Them chap try contact the NDC chairman and overseer at 5274. They
Yeah.
never could have got to them whole day, to throw a little. When I look at the thing, you know, somebody's supposed to get there before you throw some dirt or some sand into it's a madam. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
it's disgraceful on the authorities of the NDC at 5274 for people to be living down a dam, in that condition in this age and time. Before I forget, MP, I want to bring this to our attention. We're talking about GCOM. And I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to quickly bring this to our attention before our time elapses and I gotta go run again. You know, I got a list here, right? I got a list here. And let me tell you, this is not what I'm talking about somebody. I want to share with about me from this list here, the new preliminary list that is out. You know, prior to where I am living, my family and I was registered at a different resident where we used to live. After that, when a national house-to-house registration took place, we were where we are living now. And so this is where we're listed. I happen to see in this list that is out, suddenly a name by Nathaniel Sylvanis listed at my address, 125 Alexander Street, Rampur. A name that I am not aware of. It's not a member of my family. It's nobody that I know. Is the first time I come across the name. But now at this registration, that name is listed by GCOM at my home address. And
Exactly.
I'm telling you about me. And so
Yeah.
this is the discrepancy we're talking about, why we're insisting that there should be a house-to-house registration.
Yep.
So
How can a
imagine you
name
have
how can a name appear at my address
exactly.
when
Imagine you have
when
five
when
thousand of that.
yes.
You have five
You know,
thousand of that
and so
in the
I
in
am
the
not
country.
I am not talking here tonight about somebody else. I'm not talking tonight about what I hear. I am telling you, I'm having a list right here. And in this list, that is what I found. You
Exactly.
understand? In this list is what I found. That somebody else's name is listing at my address. Suddenly, you know, suddenly is listed at my address, register a GCOM. What in the world is happening? And so
Wickedness, man.
when we're
One,
talking
one.
about household registration, you know, they're against it completely. But if they would have conducted a household registration, they would have found this man does not exist in my family. He doesn't live here. And how many more of this situation is taking place elsewhere in this country? And so
Correct.
by I'm on here and I get this and I see this, I just said, man, this is the best thing, the best time for me to talk about it. And let me see what GCOM will do about that. I know it's claim and objection period. Let me see what they can do about it. How they gonna get that person out of my home address? Because
Exactly.
I don't know who is that person. I've never seen them. I've never heard from them. They're not part of my family. This is the Sugrim family, and only Sugrim lives here. And so I don't know where that person come from.
And
Yes,
if you want to take that, right, that is to say to us that if you were not cognizant, and you did not recognize that, that can happen to so many other families who are not knowledgeable to run through the list and to check and whatever. So you have 10,000 household or 10,000 addresses with one name there, and that is what can change the outcome of elections. There is where people who are not existing vote. So John Public comes out with that name and say, I'm living in Rampur, and this is my documents and whatever,
yeah,
and they vote, you know
yeah.
and they go back, and wherever they whatever, we know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
The recount brought out so much that opened the eyes of the Guyanese population to say that so many things happened last election, but we know that we have to prepare for them now. Um, since we are on the GCOM topic, I am appealing to all our Guyanese people, all the voters, all those who are eligible. Ensure that your name is on the list. And if you know that John died, if you know that Sita died and Mary died, call out the name. We got to take them name out of the list. If you know that Joseph is in the States, he can't vote here, he don't get green card, he got come out, right? And this population is 750, and we get 680 something. And the other day we share out 180,000 cash grant. So what nonsense happening in this country? Little picnic voting too? Little picnic name the under register? You know? So if you share out 180,000 cash grant, all of them are below 18, right? And then you get a 50,000 below 3 years. You understand? That 220, 230. Well, what going on is this place? We voters list should be more than 550 maximum, 500 maximum. You know, and to come to say to the people, we I guess 680 something thousand voters. Alan Shepard that must have wake up and vote too. You understand? And some people must have voted 3, 4 times. What you got to say, Mr. Morslin?
Well, the party is working very hard during the claims and objection period to have these anomalies and discrepancies be removed from the list. But however, Dineshwar, we need the support of the citizens of this country. We need the support of the activists on the ground. It is not we are going around to these house to house to ensure that, oh, APNU is people is on the list or PPP people. We are going around ensuring that we have a clean voters list. We are going to ensure that people don't rob us from the rights of voting or rob you from the rights of voting. So it's not about us going around making sure that our supporter is on the list or making sure that the PPP support is on the list. We want a clean list and we want a clean election. Whoever doesn't want that, well, you are living in a very different world. And
Good.
we intend for democracy and we intend for a clean voters list. If you look at all our rallies, we are rallying around a clean voters list. The list is bloated, it has a lot of descriptions in it, and it needs to be clean. And the only way it can be clean is that we go back to house registration. And the party is going to make it very clear. Either we go to election with a bloated list or we don't go at all. Because if we go to this election with a bloated list, it's going to say that we subscribe to the bloatedness of the list. And we don't subscribe of such. And the international
Correct.
community, we are engaging the international community to have the PPP and GCOM conduct the house to house registration, because without the proper budgeting of parliament pass, so that house to house registration cannot be taking place. So we need the support of the government of the day to have house to house registration be budgeted, pass, and resumed. So what we are saying is that what Anil is just said there, that some name it does name song not like a Guyanese, it song like a Venezuelan. So if you look at clearly, if they could remove it and put it somewhere else where no one will check. And that's happening not only in Corviton or Region 6, it's happening in all the regions.
All the
There are names,
regions.
there are names that are there on the list that ought not to be there. You cannot come in naturalization or become a citizen less than 2 years to have your name, because in the last election in 2020, that name wasn't there. And I am assuring you, Anil knows that that name wasn't there. So how it appeared in such a short period of time? So if you look at the analysis of what GCOM is doing, is that they are padding the list, and it's not no secret about this. They are padding the list to have a proper machinery for a rigged election, and we need to have our eyes on the ground for this, and we are having it. I am assuring you that.
So we are approaching program time. Mr. Sugrim, school reopens on Monday. Anything you want to say to the parents as it relates to the importance of education? And we close after that.
Well, education is very important, but very important, and parents need to you know make emphasis on at least being there for their children, and to ensure that they attend school and
Mhm.
school to the highest level, so that they can attain a proper education. Years ago, but what is happening in this country, MP, is that people are becoming reluctant to send their children to school, and people are so discouraged, you know, after secondary school, for the children to pursue higher education, because it has become of such that you become qualified academically, but you cannot find a job um, for the years of study that you put in. And even if you get a little hold on, like 10 days so, even if you get a little hold on, like 10 days so, right? It cannot compensate you for the years of study and for the monies that your parents would have sacrificed to give you an education. And so
Correct.
that is why we will continue to have a brain drain. We complaining that we don't get people to work. But I can tell you, I know of people that qualify out of the university and they can't get work because those positions are reserved for friends and families, if not only locally, but for those that will come in from foreign. Because now we invited people to come from Trinidad, come from Barbados, come from America, we invited all them to come home here. We get your land, we get your house, we get your free car, we get your all kind of thing. And the people that live right here, you know, I ain't going nowhere, no. Me ain't going nowhere. It's like them people with a second monkey box, but they never been nowhere, right? But they get monkey box, right? Me ain't going nowhere. I live in right here. But yet
Okay.
I cannot get the benefit that other people that coming from outside this country and getting. You know, I
Yes,
So
can't get
true.
that
exactly.
kind of benefit.
So true.
So the thing is, sometimes, when I go back and hear my grandmother's story, the East Indian culture in East Berbice quarantine was that then when them y'all grow, little and know for write your name and so on, I'm gonna take them out of school, I'm gonna tell them either you go find one king, cut a by and married, because they can't cut a man is work big money. When a man is cut king is work big money. But
Correct. Not
nowadays,
now.
nowadays,
Not now. We
nowadays,
approaching.
nobody
We
no want cut
approaching.
king. Yeah,
We
and
approaching
and
program time.
yeah. So
So
but it's important. I just want us to know that it's important that we send our children to school. And the best thing that we can do for our children, as a parent, I did that. As a grandparent, I am pursuing that as well for my grandchildren. The best thing that we can do is to give our children a proper academic standing that they can become a man or woman of themselves,
thank you.
um, for their future and for the future of this country, so that we can see good for all people in time to come.
Thank you very much. Comrades, brothers, thank you very much for having you. And we are approaching program time. Next week.
Thank you.
So
Next
long.
week.
Take
We'll
care.
continue the
Viewers,
conversation.
thank you very much. God bless. 107.1 family, thank you very much for having us. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.